Imagine being imprisoned for 18 years. This was the reality for Pastor David Lin, an American citizen held in China since 2006. Accused of contract fraud, a charge he vehemently denied, Lin's detention became a focal point in U.S.-China relations. His release marks a significant moment in both Lin's life and the delicate diplomacy between two global powers. David Lin's journey began with a calling, a commitment to his faith that led him to China. There, he dedicated himself to his pastoral work, building a community of believers. In 2006, Lin's life took a drastic turn when he was arrested and charged with contract fraud related to the construction of a church. Despite his innocence, Lin was handed a life sentence, shocking his family and the international community. The U.S. State Department declared his detention wrongful, sparking years of diplomatic efforts to secure his release. David Lin's case highlighted the wrongful detention of foreign nationals in China. His plight, along with those of Kai Li and Mark Swidan, underscored the human cost of strained diplomatic relations. The Biden administration elevated Lin's case to a top priority, engaging in high-level negotiations with Chinese officials. Lin's release underscores the fragility of international relations and the importance of continued advocacy for those unjustly imprisoned abroad. David Lin's journey began with a deep sense of purpose and a desire to make a difference. Born and raised in America, Lin felt a powerful calling to serve a higher purpose. This calling led him to pastoral work, where he dedicated his life to spreading the word of God. His journey took him to China, a land brimming with opportunities to share his faith. Lin embraced this new chapter, eager to bridge cultural divides through the universal language of faith. Arriving in China, Lin was struck by the nation's scale and diversity. He saw differences as opportunities for growth and understanding. Lin believed that faith transcended borders and sought to build bridges of understanding. He immersed himself in the local culture, learning the language and customs. Lin's dedication to his pastoral work shone through in his efforts to establish a place of worship. Lin understood the importance of creating a welcoming space for spiritual growth. He poured his heart into establishing a church, a beacon of hope within the community. It wasn't just about constructing a building, it was about building a community of believers. The church became a sanctuary, transcending cultural and linguistic barriers. Lin's leadership inspired those around him, fostering an environment of love and support. The church, still under construction, was a symbol of unwavering faith. Each brick laid was a testament to their collective effort and shared dream. Lin oversaw every aspect of the construction, ensuring the church embodied their faith. He meticulously reviewed every detail, from the layout to the acoustics. Lin worked tirelessly alongside volunteers, strengthening their bonds and commitment. As the church's construction progressed, suspicion and accusations arose. Chinese authorities began to take an interest in Lin and his activities. Whispers of illegal construction and fraudulent activities cast a pall over the project. Lin was accused of contract fraud, stemming from his involvement in the church's construction. Despite his denials and lack of evidence, Lin's pleas of innocence fell on deaf ears. The Chinese government seemed determined to make an example of him. What followed was a trial that could only be described as a travesty of justice. Lin, denied proper legal representation, faced closed-door hearings with fabricated evidence. Despite his efforts to defend himself, Lin was at the mercy of a biased system. The judge, influenced by political pressure, handed down a life imprisonment verdict. The sentence, delivered without genuine evidence, shocked Lin's family and the international community. Lin's nightmare continued in the harsh reality of the Chinese prison system. He clung to his faith, finding solace in prayer and memories of his family. Years turned into a cycle of monotonous days and sleepless nights. Lin endured the physical and psychological toll with remarkable resilience. His family and human rights organizations continued to fight for his release. While Lin endured prison life, his plight resonated globally. Human rights organizations rallied to his cause, amplifying his story. Their voices demanded accountability from the Chinese government. They organized protests, petitions, and letter-writing campaigns for Lin's freedom. Their efforts represented a powerful force demanding justice for Lin. As Lin's case gained international attention, pressure mounted on the U.S. government. The State Department initiated diplomatic efforts with Chinese counterparts. The Chinese government resisted, dismissing Lin's case as an internal matter. Undeterred, the State Department continued to press for Lin's release. They emphasized the importance of human rights and the rule of law in bilateral meetings. The election of President Joe Biden brought renewed hope for Lin. Biden prioritized the cases of Americans wrongfully detained abroad. Upon taking office, Biden elevated Lin's case to a high-level priority. The administration engaged in direct dialogue with Chinese counterparts. They also leveraged international pressure, rallying allies to join their call for Lin's release. Years of advocacy and diplomatic pressure yielded a glimmer of hope. The Chinese government signaled a willingness to revisit Lin's case. While details remained secret, a shift had occurred. David Lin, after nearly 2 decades of wrongful imprisonment, was finally coming home. Lin's case shed light on the wrongful detention of foreign nationals by China. His release did not erase the reality that others remained trapped in the same system. The world watched as Lin stepped off the plane, a free man at last. The fight for justice continued for Kai Li and Mark Swidan, also wrongfully detained. Their cases highlighted a systemic issue demanding continued attention and action. Kai Li, a successful businessman, traveled to China in 2016 for a routine business trip. Accused of espionage, he found himself swept into the Chinese legal system. The evidence against him, shrouded in secrecy, did little to convince anyone of his guilt. Years turned into a relentless cycle of court appearances and dashed hopes. His family continued to advocate for his release, joining the growing chorus demanding justice. Mark Swidan's story took a different path but was equally tragic. Arrested in 2012 on drug-related charges, Swidan maintained his innocence. The Chinese legal system offered him little recourse. Sentenced to death in 2019, later commuted to life in prison, Swidan's fate hung in the balance. His family launched a tireless campaign for his release, highlighting the inconsistencies in his case. The cases of Kai Li and Mark Swidan shared a common thread with Lin's experience: the arbitrary detention of foreign nationals by China. Their stories underscored the human cost of political maneuvering. As the world celebrated Lin's release, the fight for Li and Swidan continued, demanding a united front against injustice. After 18 long years, Pastor David Lin stepped off the plane and onto American soil, a free man once again. The journey had been arduous, filled with trials and tribulations that tested his faith and resilience. Yet here he was, standing tall, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure and overcome. The years had etched lines on his face, but his spirit remained unbroken. Each wrinkle told a story of perseverance, each crease a chapter of unwavering faith. His eyes, though aged, still sparkled with the same determination that had carried him through the darkest of times. The joy in his eyes, the tears of relief streaming down his face, spoke volumes about the ordeal he had endured and the unwavering hope that had sustained him. These tears were not just of relief but of gratitude, a silent prayer of thanks for the strength that had seen him through. Waiting for him, their arms outstretched, were the faces he had clung to in his darkest hours, his family. They had been his beacon of hope, the light that guided him through the seemingly endless night. Their love had been his anchor, grounding him when everything else seemed to be falling apart. The reunion was a symphony of emotions, tears, laughter, embraces that seemed to last an eternity. Each hug was a promise, each tear a testament to the love that had never wavered, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Words seemed inadequate to bridge the chasm of time and distance, But in that moment, none were needed. The silence spoke louder than any words could, a silent understanding that they had all been through a journey of their own and had come out stronger on the other side. The love, the relief, the sheer joy of being reunited transcended language. It was a moment that needed no explanation, a feeling that could only be experienced, not described. The smiles, the tears, the laughter, all were expressions of a joy that words could never fully capture. It was a testament to the enduring power of family, the unwavering faith that had sustained them, and the triumph of hope over despair. This homecoming was not just a reunion, it was a celebration of the human spirit, a reminder that love and hope can conquer even the greatest of challenges. The road ahead for Pastor Lin would not be without its challenges. Each step he took was a reminder of the long journey that lay ahead, filled with uncertainties and obstacles. Adjusting to life outside prison walls was no small feat. The world had changed in his absence, and he had to find his place in it once again. Reconnecting with a world that had continued to spin without him was daunting. The cityscape had evolved, technology had advanced, and even the smallest tasks felt like monumental challenges. Processing the trauma of his experience would require time, patience, and unwavering support. Therapy sessions became a regular part of his routine, and journaling helped him make sense of his thoughts and emotions. But Lin, a man of deep faith and resilience, approached this new chapter with the same determination that had carried him through his darkest hours. His prayers were filled with hope, and his reflections brought clarity. He spoke of forgiveness, not bitterness, to anyone who would listen. His words were a testament to the power of faith to heal even the deepest wounds, and his serene expression conveyed a sense of peace. His words were a testament to the power of faith to heal even the deepest wounds. Holding his cross, he found solace in his beliefs and shared that peace with others. He shared his story, not with anger, but with a quiet strength. His gentle demeanor and serene conversations inspired those around him, offering a beacon of hope. Hoping that his experience might serve as a beacon of hope for others enduring similar ordeals, he spoke at support groups and gave motivational talks. His presence was comforting, and his words were filled with empathy. Lin's journey, though marked by unimaginable hardship, ultimately became a testament to the indomitable spirit of one man. Reflecting on his difficult experiences, he held a photo from prison as a reminder of how far he had come, and the unwavering love that had brought him home. The joyous reunion with his family and the simple act of sharing a meal together were testaments to the power of love and resilience. David Lin's release, while a cause for celebration, served as a stark reminder that the fight for justice was far from over. Kai Li and Mark Swidan, along with countless other foreign nationals, remained unjustly imprisoned in China, their fates hanging precariously in the balance. Their families continued to fight tirelessly for their release, their voices echoing the same pleas for justice, the same desperate hope that had fueled Lin's own journey to freedom. Their stories, woven into the fabric of Lin's own experience, highlighted the urgent need for continued diplomatic pressure, international cooperation, and unwavering advocacy for the release of all those wrongfully detained. The world watched, listened, and held on to the hope that one day they too would experience the joy of homecoming, reunited with their loved ones and free from the shadows of injustice. David Lin's story is a powerful reminder that we cannot afford to remain silent in the face of injustice. His experience is not an isolated incident, but a reflection of a broader issue that affects countless individuals around the world. It is a call to action, a challenge to stand up for what is right and to recognize that our collective voice has the power to bring about change. We must demand accountability from those in power, ensuring that they uphold the principles of justice and fairness. It is our duty to amplify the voices of those who have been silenced. Whether through diplomatic channels, grassroots activism, or community organizing, or simply sharing the stories of those unjustly imprisoned, we can make a difference. By raising awareness and fostering dialogue, we all have a role to play in the pursuit of justice. Our actions, no matter how small, contribute to a larger movement that seeks to right the wrongs of our society. Let us honor David Lin's legacy by continuing the fight for freedom and justice for all. His story serves as a beacon of hope and a call to action for each of us. Let us work tirelessly to ensure that no one endures the pain of wrongful imprisonment and that justice is served for all. Let us never forget those who remain separated from their loved ones. Their absence felt deeply at every family gathering, their voices yearning to be heard, their stories waiting to be told, their hopes pinned on a future where justice prevails, where every individual is treated with dignity and respect, and where the scales of justice are balanced for all.